Hey, we're back and we are worse than ever. This is Effortless. I'm Piddle, your host for this week, and with me is Dr. Spigel.
It's been so long, and it's so good to be back. I love it. I love this show, and I've missed it dearly.
It's not good to be back at all.
Well, I mean, it's a matter of speaking.
So, what's
Man,
on the docket for this, I don't know, month? Because apparently we're going from weekly or bi-weekly to monthly
we
episodes.
haven't even done a show in like a month. Everything is on the docket for this show. We are so loaded, and I say that every time, but we really are. There's a lot of topics we have to get to. So let's just jump right in.
Yeah. So first things first, we wanted to talk about one of Nintendo's upcoming games, right?
Well, I mean, yes and no.
And the story surrounding it.
I didn't really want to talk about the game itself because I'm not really interested in the game. It's Star Fox Zero, right?
Yep.
And everyone's making a big deal about the new Star Fox, and I'm just sitting here like, here's a game that is coming out that we haven't seen anything of since June of 2015. So they're not hyping it. They're not drawing any attention to it. It's coming out in literally 2 months. What are they doing? Like, what is the status of this game? Is it going to get delayed again? Because that's what it feels like right now. It feels like and I've heard reports that it's like incomplete, that it's not running the way they wanted. They're running into all sorts of roadblocks with it, and it's just like,
and that the gameplay is just not very good.
come on, Nintendo, get it together. And
that it's really disorienting, and yeah.
But I'd like to point the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I believe that it points to it's a small piece of a bigger puzzle, which is Nintendo. Why do you feel like you need to be so different from the rest of the industry? Why do you feel like you need a Star Fox game at this point that utilizes the gamepad to an extent that it's like, oh, this is like a super unique system still? It's like, do you still really even care about the Wii U that much? Just make a Star Fox game that people want to play. Your games already sell like 1 million units every time they come out, so I just don't understand why you need to do this. Why do you need to focus on these weird gameplay gimmicks that arguably mess up the gameplay and just make the game unplayable, literally, because now you can't even release it?
Yeah, the ridiculous thing about the whole Star Fox Zero situation is, Star Fox series in general, is the fans have been clamoring for just a traditional Star Fox for how long?
Literally since 1997.
Yeah, that's all anybody wants. They just want Star Fox 64 2. That's it. Just tighter controls, same general gameplay, multiple branching paths, secrets to find. That's all they want. And Nintendo continues to
They will not give it to
in
us.
These ridiculous gameplay concepts into their Star Fox series, and they're using it as like an experimentation ground for the gamepad.
Which at this point is played out. Can we agree the gamepad is played out?
Yeah. I mean, I know they at this point,
I'm sorry, Wii U fans.
There's nothing
the Wii
to
U,
prove.
The Wii U is dead. It's dead, and that's fine. But I'm ready for the next thing. And if you're insisting on keeping the Wii U alive, you don't need to give me gimmicks at this point. Gimmicks are not going to sell this system. If people are still on the fence about a Wii U at this point, you think the gamepad is going to sell it to them? Because they've been trying to do that for 3.5 years and hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And what has sold or continued to move Wii U's is good games like Mario Kart 8.
Splatoon.
How about that gamepad support in Mario Kart 8?
Yeah, or even in Splatoon, you tap it to fly to someone else's. That's about all you use the gamepad for in Splatoon.
Yeah, that's about it.
Super Smash Brothers, you can look at your fighter's % damage on the gamepad, or you can do off-TV play.
Worthless.
Like that's really all you need.
Off-TV gameplay, that is the biggest use of the gamepad, and yeah, it's the great games that don't even really use the gamepad that are the reason that the Wii U continues to sell it. I mean, I wouldn't say sell well, but sell consistently. Well. I mean, it's not dropping down in sales. The sales are just always there.
Yeah. Man. I hate to see the company that I love just go down this path of just like, they're just kind of treading water right now, and I don't really know why. Don't you think that they really need to be doing something? Nintendo is slowly becoming irrelevant, and I'm afraid that they're not aware of that. Doesn't it feel that way sometimes?
Yeah, nobody's talking about it.
And one other thing that I wanted to talk about, and this is not on our list, but Nintendo seems to have grossly underestimated the demand for another Fire Emblem game because everywhere is sold out of Fire Emblem Fates. So good luck getting your hands on a copy.
Well, I pre-ordered my copy, so I
I
got it.
got. I actually, I previously had said that I wasn't going to buy the games, and then I saw the review scores. And I'm like, oh crap, I better buy them, and I did pre-order them just in time. So, I did
Yeah,
get both
I
games.
pre-ordered it the day before its release. So
Naturally, I have not played them. Yeah, you lucky you did pre-order them because Nintendo didn't make enough of them for everybody.
the thing that sort of drove me nuts was I didn't want just to pick one of the games. I wanted the collector's edition or the
Yeah.
special edition.
Yeah,
But the special edition sold out on Amazon within like 30 minutes of getting put on pre-order. And I mean, it was sort of like the same deal with when GameStop put it up for pre-order. So like that's the only way to get the entire game on one cartridge
yes.
to not, and I mean with Amazon's pre-order discount of 20%, and like even Best Buy's pre-order has that 20% discount if you have the Gamers Club Ultimate or
Right.
whatever it's called. I mean, that's it's $80, and with
For
the
3 games.
discount, it's like 60 something dollars. But yeah, it's $80 for
Yeah.
all 3 games in this great collector's edition box with some, I think like an art.
There's an art book and there's some other stuff
Yeah,
in there.
some really really cool stuff.
And incidentally,
And that's
it's
the only
another
option. Like,
yeah, it's another
if
weird
you-
example of Nintendo like just oh, you guys want our stuff? Well, too bad you can't have it. And I just don't understand why they do
Yeah.
this. It's like you
So now my
realize you
option
can
is-
make more money, right?
Well, I feel like it's. Well, now they get way more money from everybody else that gets the game because you're going to buy the standalone game
Okay, well
for
that's
$40,
fair.
and then if you want to play the other game, there's no point in buying 2 different carts. You buy one cart, and then you download the other parts. So like if you got Conquest, you get Birthright, or you get the download Birthright, and then you get the download Revelations.
I actually did buy both carts.
So that's $40 plus $20 for another for one of the downloads and $20 for the next download. So you're spending $80 regardless to download the other versions and not get the cool art book or anything like that. Like that sucks. That's just a bad deal.
yeah. Well, it is what it is, and that's Nintendo. That's how they run their business. They're like, we're gonna nickel and dime you. Oh, and now we're not gonna give you any games that you want. All right, let's move on because I don't want to talk
That's
about
the
this
other
anymore.
amazing thing is
this is
just think
this is
about
a,
it.
this is
It's
a
an
depressing
$80
way to
game.
start at the show.
It's an $80 game. But you know what? This will help
probably-
Nintendo's profits, so I'm sure the investors are loving it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you know what? I'm sure it's a good game too. Haven't gotten a chance to get into it yet, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, I'm about like 10 minutes into it, and we'll talk about that later. So, next thing I wanted to talk about is the game that really has been consuming all my time for the last month, and that is Peggle Blast. I am playing this mobile game just for you, Dan. Oh my gosh.
So real quick, this is part of Piddle's quest for mobile glory. Which, if you
Yes.
haven't listened to the show in a month, which nobody has, the quest for mobile glory is Piddle's attempt to find a mobile game worthy of him that is free, that is basically worth playing. Is the route we're going, right?
Yep.
And we haven't found one yet, but we're working on it.
We're working on it. And
Well, he's working on it. I would never be caught dead playing a mobile game unless it's
so
a
yeah,
Nintendo
Peggle
mode.
Blast is what I've been playing lately, and I don't know if anybody's played PopCap's other games like Plants vs Zombies or just the first Peggle game or Peggle 2. PopCap makes some good games, but Peggle Blast is, oh my gosh, it is so bad. It
It's so bad you played it for a month.
the way that no, I really didn't play it for a month. I did play it for a while. I played it for long enough, and I put up with some of its it does a great job. The illusion of skill is real because it gives you the first few levels, and the first few levels, like you would I don't even know if it's possible to fail at the first few levels. And when you beat a level and hit all the pegs in the level, it starts playing Beethoven's Second Symphony really loud and just rainbows shooting off everywhere and fireworks and the whole 10 yards. It makes you feel like you accomplished something, even though you didn't really accomplish anything in the first few levels. And then it starts to get a little bit more difficult. And if you don't know what Peggle it is
I
really
do not
just-
even know what Peggle is, to be honest with you. I have no idea.
I I'm trying to think of those, what those games are called, where like you drop a marble at the top of a thing, and it like hits a bunch of pegs as it falls down to the bottom of a board, a pegboard, I guess you would call it.
Yeah.
And you would try to get it to land in like one of 5 different spots. If you've played any of the Shenmue games, it's like Lucky Strike in Shenmue or something like that. But anyway, in Peggle, you get to sort of aim where you're going to shoot this marble, and it'll bounce off of a bunch of different pegs, and you want to hit like these orange pegs. There's blue and orange pegs, and you want to clear all the orange pegs. And whenever you only have like so many balls to shoot, and after you're done with your balls, like level's over. So the first few levels, yeah, really, really easy and simple. And then once you get to like level 40 to 50, the game starts throwing at you the levels that really, there is some skill involved, but there's also a lot of luck that starts to factor into it. And it just gets more and more ridiculous until I think level 60 is you have to finish like 5 pegboards all in a row. And each one you're going to have to get fairly lucky at finishing. And that's only level 60. I think the game has like 300 levels in it. So I'm at level 60. I think I spent like several days on level 60. And it just reached this point where I'm like, I don't even know why I'm playing this. Like, this is exactly the problem with mobile games. They give you this illusion of skill, just like Candy Crush or any other Saga game from King Games. They give you this illusion of skill because your first shot will matter. Like, your first shot, you can sort of generally aim it so the ball bounces off one peg and then might hit another peg and start doing a chain reaction. But very shortly after that, it's just going to be complete random luck. And yeah, the game just starts to go more and more into luck territory and giving you fewer and fewer balls to use until the point where you're just like, man, I just need like a few more turns to win this. And in order to get a few more turns, well, you can watch some ads.
Ugh.
But then sometimes you'll get a few more turns, and even that is like not even close enough. Like, you really just need more power-ups. And guess how you get those power-ups, Dr. Spigel?
By watching more ads.
Nope.
Oh, by buying them and via microtransactions.
Yes.
Let me ask you this: when you were watching those ads, were there any ads that advertised that you could buy a McDouble and some golden brown fries for $2?
No.
Okay, that's good, I guess.
All they advertised were things like matching games. You know, more games that were exactly like it. Illusion of skill with microtransactions. So it is a horrible game. It's horrible. It is absolutely deplorable. It's fun at first. Avoid it at all costs.
In your quest for good mobile games, you have come upon a game that is so deplorable you can't even speak of it, and that is Peggle Blast.
The pushing of microtransactions and that illusion of skill is. It's funny because they didn't even like really ease you into it. It's just like, hey, we're gonna give you everything because you're so amazing right away, and then very shortly after that, it's just like hammer comes down and it's just like, nope, spend money.
Ugh.
So that's Peggle Blast. It's horrible. Don't play it. I don't know what I'm gonna play next on my mobile phone. Actually, I do know what's next, and I actually spent 99 cents on it.
So, let's move on. You're making me sick with this mobile game crap. I know. Can you find a good game already so we can stop this quest for mobile glory? We need good games. Fans, leave us some good games.
Good free games. Like the one I got doesn't count because I actually spent money on it, and we already know it's a pretty good game because it's Super Monkey Ball 2.
Yeah.
Just ported.
So the reason by the way, I mentioned McPick 2 because I was really angered about something last week. The McPick 2 is over, by the way, apparently, according to you, anyway. They're not doing it anymore.
Finished.
But I drove past a McDonald's like a couple days after we did the McPick 2 episode, and I saw that because we live in the state of California, of course our prices are going to be higher. So it's not the McPick 2 in California. It's the McPick 250. It was a frickin' joke. It made me so
Aw.
angry. I was like, that's just straight up like blatant false advertising. That's ridiculous. I mean, I know what they're doing, but like, come on. The McPick
That is such a
250,
shame.
it doesn't even have a ring to it. Just don't do the promotion if you're going to do it for that
two
price.
and a half.
I guarantee you people would go to that restaurant and be like, how come it's not $2? I can't afford 50 more cents.
I
It's like
actually feel sorry for the employees.
Oh, I do too. Because you know when something like that happens, the employees are the ones who are getting crap for it.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
like, why are you complaining to me? I'm making like $8 an hour.
The weirdest thing of all is that, well, not in California, you're making more than that. The weirdest thing about this whole McPick 250 is that they had an actual, like, legit sign for it. It said McPick 250. Like, the management at that restaurant didn't make it. McDonald's sent them a McPick 250.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I figured management just put up the McPick 2 and then just like
Slapped a little piece of paper
taped up
on it.
there
Yeah.
on
No.
like a white sheet of paper.
No,
drawn
it was
with,
it was
like
a
thin
legitimate
Sharpie.
it was a legitimate sign that said McPick 250 on it. It was insane. So California sucks, and so does McDonald's, and so does Nintendo. So that's basically how we start our show today. What else are we gonna do? We have a lot of stuff to talk about.
You know, I love this because this whole first 15 minutes has been nothing but complaining about games and McDonald's. And now we're going to complain about more games because we have our first broken game. Well, not really
yes.
broken, but
No, it's not broken.
incomplete. Broken or
Yes.
incomplete game of 2016.
So last year we started a feature on this show called the Broken and Incomplete Games of 2015 of Holiday 2015. And incidentally, the only two games we added to the list were Just Cause 3 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. We're going to continue that feature into this year because the gaming industry is going down that route. But I also would like to retroactively add a game to the list, and I'll talk about that later. A game that came out Holiday 2015. But
Ooh.
now we're going to move on to 2016. And what's the first game, Piddle?
I know,
for
we
2016?
couldn't even get past February, and we already have an incomplete game.
There's
with
like
Street
three
Fighter V.
games came out this year. And what's
Yeah.
the game? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Street Fighter 5
Okay. Yeah.
or Street Fighter V, I don't know.
I
And
get Street Fighter V on the phone a lot at work. Hey, do you have Street Fighter V? No.
it has, oh my gosh. Do we really want to talk about this? Because, so, the game doesn't have full online lobbies yet. It only has, like, 2-player lobbies. It's not even a lobby. It's really almost entirely an online game because the single-player missions that you do, like, it's like a few battles, and the difficulty is insanely easy. Just go watch it. Go watch a video of people playing through the single-player quote-unquote campaign that exists right now, because the enemies just sit there and like do nothing except like throw out a random punch or kick every once in a while. The AI is just atrocious.
It's like playing a level 1 on Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, that's really what it's like. It's
Yeah.
like playing a level 1. Even people who like suck at fighting games could
Like me.
easily get through it. And yeah, each one's like 5 minutes long, so you're gonna finish the whole thing in like 30 minutes with all the characters that they have. The online, the fight point system, it continues to be broken. Like if people disconnect from each other, they're not getting their fight points, or their fight points are getting reset.
Did you hear the thing about how if you don't want to pay for downloadable content, you can like fight really well and earn it? But like, don't you have to like win 2,000 matches a month or something crazy?
People have done the search, and I think like somebody said like 900 is
It's
what
insane.
I wanted to hear. 900 to unlock alternate costumes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
For the
so
characters.
that's a freaking joke.
So it's it's gonna push like, hey, you should buy this.
Which,
and-
by the way, is a very disturbing trend in the video game industry, where they set like impossible goals, and they're like, "Well, but if you don't want to do it, if you don't want to wait, you can just buy it." Like in
And you know
like in Grand Theft Auto Online, stuff like that.
I wouldn't be surprised if Capcom then has fight points expire, just like, and I have to throw this in there, Metal Gear Solid 5. It was recently revealed that I think in Japan only on the Steam version, that your mother base points expire after 6 months. And so pretty much with that game, the game like gives you a pittance of mother base coins just for like playing every day, and it's never going to be enough to actually expand your mother base. You're going to have to spend money, almost assured. So by having your mother base points expire after 6 months, they pretty much are saying, nope, those of you who have been like saving up all your points for all these months by logging into this game every day, yeah, you're not going to be able to buy that base expansion. Oh my gosh, this is the state of games right now.
So you know what else sucks?
Incomplete games for $60. Like, just so you know, Street Fighter V will not have like the full single player story mode available until June. I know. Is it June or August?
It sounds like they should have waited to release it until June or August.
I want to say
June actually would have been a really good time.
Let's just say it's June, but like still, that's 4 months. Like 4 months from now, people are just, I don't know.
People keep buying these freaking games, and it's like, oh, you're feeding right into what they want, and it's just like the game industry is.
Yeah, if you're buying these games, you are the cause of this, and you're perpetuating it, and you're going to continue making it worse.
Basically, the game industry is bad, and you should feel bad.
Yeah.
So we need to move on. We have way too much stuff to talk about, and we'll get to your other. You wrote your other topic on here. We should do that in a minute because I want to talk about Ubisoft.
Oh, fine.
Because it makes sense, because it leads right into the other thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, more complaining.
Well, actually, before I get to Ubisoft, since we're already talking about like scumbag companies like Capcom and Konami, let me talk about another scumbag company right now. And the company is called Bethesda. So,
I want to give an aside on Bethesda.
Bethesda.
Since we're talking about DLC and all that incomplete games and everything.
Are we going to talk about the season pass?
I'm going to talk about just one thing real quick about Bethesda.
Okay, go ahead.
It is ridiculous to realize that if Bethesda released horse armor right now, horse armor, which everybody complained about because it was like $6 or something like that just to get new like cosmetic armor for your horse in the game. If they did that today, I don't think consumers would bat an eyelash.
Nobody would say a dang thing. I mean, they'd be like,
it would just be like, normal.
Wow, that's expensive, but okay.
And back when this happened, people were like
furious.
Yeah, they were just going nuts over horse armor. It was a big topic for, I don't know, the month that it happened. And now it would just be a normal everyday thing. So that's where we're really at right now. But yes, continue, please.
So regarding Bethesda, they recently announced, the Fallout 4 Season Pass, blah, blah, blah. When they first announced that the Season Pass would be available, they were like, we don't know what's going to be in it yet, but give us $30. It's going to be some content. You'll be able to get it. $30 isn't a lot for a Season Pass. It's a good chunk of money though. We've seen the high-end Season Passes for games like Call of Duty, Star Wars Battlefront, $50, right? That's absurd. But $30 seems a little more reasonable. It seems like you're going to get some good content. It's Bethesda, so even if it's glitchy, it's going to at least be fairly quality. And for a game like Fallout, it's kind of a big deal, right? So recently, I think about a week ago, they announced that the Season Pass price for Fallout 4, of which I don't believe any content has come out for yet, the price is going to be raised to $50 for the Season Pass. Did you hear about this story?
Yes, I did.
Now, this enrages me on so many levels. Number one, because it's just absurd that these companies think they can get away with charging $50 for season passes for content that we don't know if it's even going to be good. It's non-refundable, so you cannot return a season pass. And it's just like, wow. The industry is now to a point where so many people bought the Star Wars Battlefront and Call of Duty Black Ops 3 season pass for $50 that every company is now realizing, hey, we can do the exact same thing. And like you said, no one's going to bat an eyelash.
Yeah, people are still going to get the season pass because they think it's the best value. And then you're going to have games like Arkham Knight, which
you know what the best value is? Releasing a complete freaking game. That's the best value, is buying a game that's finished and you don't have to pay for extra content because the developer is too lazy or too greedy to put it in the actual game. That's the best value. Sorry, let's get really fired up on this topic because I don't like paying extra money for stuff that I don't really want. So, anyway.
Well, then you don't have to get the season pass.
You say that, but it's but I do have to get the season pass, especially with a game like Star Wars Battlefront. You have to get the season pass or you're playing half a game.
Yeah. If even. Was Star Wars Battlefront, I would say this season pass is probably going to give you more content than the actual game will.
At one point during holiday season, Star Wars Battlefront was on sale for $30, and the season pass was $50. Just saying.
Oh, the state of gaming.
So now that I've complained about Bethesda, I want to complain about a different company, and that's Ubisoft. Okay, should we go? Which one do we want to do first? Because I got two games on this list.
Whichever you like.
I'm gonna start with our new feature. We're introducing a new feature here on Effortless. It's called the Effortless Suckometer, and the Suckometer is the thing that I came up with this morning. That the name is pending. We need to come up with a better name, maybe. But the Suckometer is the way that Piddle and I express our disdain for upcoming games, games that are not out yet that we can criticize blindly, even though we know nothing about them. And the one we're going to do today is Ubisoft's Far Cry Primal, a game that comes out today, actually, if you're listening to this show on the first day it comes out. Coming out today, February 23rd. What do you think of this game, Piddle?
I don't care about it at all because I played Far Cry 3 and I really liked Far Cry 3 when I played it, but by the time I was done with it, I was just like, you know what? I never have to go back to this series ever again, I don't think. So I think I'm good.
Yeah, working in the industry that I work in, there's a lot of drive around this game. A lot of people are talking about it like it's going to be like the next big hot seller of February and stuff like that. A lot of hype is being basically it's put on us, the employees of the company, to like deliver the message that this game is going to be awesome, and it's like super hype. And you know, if you like Far Cry 4, you'll like this. And to be fair, if you like Far Cry 4, you probably will like this game. It's an open world game. It's just, you know, there's no guns or anything, which you know, a lot of people are going to be very frustrated with. They'll get just to the
spears.
They'll get to the end of the game and they'll return it and they're like, I hated this game. There was no guns in it. But I look at Far Cry Primal and I see a giant world, like this open world where there's like nothing to do, or like a world that's going to lose its charm, and it's going to lose that like, oh, this is something you've never seen before. It's going to lose that charm very quickly because it's basically just Far Cry, but thousands of years ago.
Yep.
And I find the idea of that so incredibly boring that I just don't.
It's just a typical Ubisoft game.
I just don't understand how this game is going to be good. Like, how is it going to be good?
It's like any other Ubisoft game. It has just this aesthetic appeal that people are going to say is amazing, and
an excellent
really,
marketing campaign.
There will be one thing that you constantly do, and then filled with a bunch of menial side quests and like markers to find.
I was actually reading the IGN review of this game before we did this segment because I wanted to learn a little bit more about it. And you just said like one thing that you do over and over again. They did say there are gameplay loops, and I'm like, well, that just sums it up right there. I don't know what they were. I wasn't looking at that.
The funny thing is, I just described every Ubisoft game out there.
And speaking of,
I didn't, not specifically Far Cry Primal, just every Ubisoft game.
Yeah. I think this game is going to suck. I think the reaction to it's going to be very muted, in terms of like people are going to buy it day one and it's going to be sold back to us a couple days later.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For what it's worth, the game is averaging a 77 right now on Metacritic as of this recording, which is not great. I'm not sure. Let me just grab a couple of comments from these reviews here. This is from Twinfinite, who gave the game a 6 out of 10. Ultimately, the lack of a gripping story or any standout characters strips a bit too much from the experience. It's a solid effort that opens up more possibilities for first-person action, but without the highs a strong narrative could have afforded the game, it is left feeling a bit bare. So once again, a game that feels like it doesn't have that much content in it.
Big surprise.
After all these years, this is from Merlin and Kazani, Turkey. Okay. After all these years, Far Cry is taking a risk. The Stone Age combat and pet systems are very interesting and enjoyable, but the game is too easy. You won't try to survive in Far Cry Primal. Instead, you will crush the game very early and easily. And they give it a 7.7 out of 10. But bottom line, it looks. I'm glad that they're trying to do something different, but it's really not that different, and it probably just sucks. So that's where it lands on the suckometer for me.
I don't know if I can give it I don't. It's a Ubisoft game. I already talked about Ubisoft and Activision and EA already. I'm done with their games. Their games are either incomplete with gigantic, expensive season passes or really, really shallow. So, yeah.
So here's another
on the
story.
suckometer. I give it an official Ubi suck.
Ubi suck. Okay, that should be one. That's on the suckometer officially. Ubi suck. So let's go down this direction since I somehow have become host of the show again.
Don't know how this happened.
Ubisoft has confirmed that Watch Dogs 2 will be released before the second quarter of next year of 2017. They said it's going to be first quarter of next year or earlier, which of course means it's going to be a holiday game with the season pass for $50. So, Watch Dogs, I would argue, is probably the most hyped game of all time. Maybe Grand Theft Auto 4. Maybe The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. But those three games, I would say Watch Dogs probably takes the cake. Well, would you agree with that?
I don't know. I'd say it's similar to like the first Assassin's Creed. People were really, really looking forward to it, and then it turned into a pew-pew shooty game, and everybody just lost interest.
So Watch Dogs 2, right, is obviously a cash grab, and why not? Because Ubisoft made tons of money off the first game, and I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with cash grabs, as long as the game is actually good. Like, if Nintendo wanted to make Splatoon 2 and put it out tomorrow, I'd be fine with it. You know, if the game is good, which I don't know. Would it be? I don't know. But Watch Dogs 2, from a company perspective, like if you look at Ubisoft and their history of releasing sequels, they're so hit and miss on what they bring over from the game that they think is good, or or what they think people will be interested in. Ultimately, Ubisoft is a company that's like its foundation is built on what is the best way to sell this game. Like they worry about the content after they worry about how to sell the game. And Watch Dogs 2, I think, is just going to be marketed the same way. Like, oh, you remember the first Watch Dogs? Well, this one's more of the same, but better. Yet they fail to show any way that the game is actually better. And then they put the game out, and then people buy it. And then 2 weeks later, I've got 1 billion copies in the drawer at work. So that's my opinion on Watch Dogs 2. And I've already discussed my opinion on Ubisoft as a company, so I don't need to go there. But
yeah,
needless to say, I'm not excited for this game. It's going to be given a big stage at E3 this year, along with some of the other games that they've got that actually look pretty good. Like that, what's the name of that one game that they showed off last year? There was it was that new IP that they had come up with, Dishonored or something. Not Dishonored.
I can't remember.
I can't remember. But it was like the presentation was delivered by this guy who looked like a Viking, and it was really cool. So that's a game I'm looking forward to seeing. Watch Dogs 2, not so much.
You know, the first game, the big thing that it seemed to have going for it is people invading your world and having to find them or like seek them out while you were playing. But it sounds like everything else, from the shooting to the driving to the GPS system, that a lot of people really, really didn't like. It was a lackluster game. So,
you know what the best thing about Watch Dogs is? You know what the best thing about Watch Dogs is?
What?
That it's $10 at GameStop right now.
I've heard people sort of say that they see the first Watch Dogs sort of like the first Assassin's Creed, and that Assassin's Creed 2 and Revelations were where the series really took off and got good. So maybe Watch Dogs 2 will take the same path, and maybe Watch Dogs 2 will be really good and have a lot more content and more interesting things to do. But I don't know.
There's a lawnmower outside my house right now. I'm not sure if you guys can hear it. Hopefully not. Hopefully I'll be able to cut it out. But that's what that is. If I can't get it off the track. Oh my gosh, it's like right next to my window. Come on.
This is Effortless, where
maybe we'll just leave
lawnmower sounds in.
Yeah, I think I will leave them in. So we are blasting through this show. We still have a couple things to get to.
Yeah, we do.
And what's next?
Talking about the things that we haven't gotten through.
Are we going to talk about 52 games in 52 weeks?
If we're just gonna talk a little bit, but more, you know, you know how sometimes you're really into gaming, and
You
just
make a
can't
show
get
about
enough.
it.
Like
And
you just gotta find something new to play, and everything's really exciting, and you're having a great time with it.
Well, you know
Well,
what? I would call that a gaming slump when you can't find another game that you really want to get into.
that's where I'm at right now. I am in a gaming slump right now, and I don't know why. Like, I really enjoyed the first Final Fantasy, and I told you I'm gonna try to work through all the Final Fantasies, and I started Final Fantasy 2. The system in it sort of intimidated me, and I was just like, you know, I don't know, I just don't feel like working through this right now. And I looked at all the other games I have to play, or any games to play, and just nothing. So I looked to newer games that released. The Witness just came out, didn't just came out now. It came out like a month ago now, and that got like some 10 out of 10 perfect reviews, and just no interest in it. The new Fire Emblem Fates just came out, and very little interest in it. I don't know.
You know what? I think
it really sucks. I have not finished like anything over the last month since our last show.
And I think part of that could be that, and I've found this in my life, that RPGs can kind of do that to you. They can kind of sap you of everything, including your will to live and play video games. And that's mostly because I feel like there's such a grind. There's so much to do in an RPG that it's like you really need to kind of take your time with it and let it play out over the course of a couple of months, and play other games while you're playing it, because RPGs are just nuts. They take a long time to complete. If you blast through it, you're not going to want to play something immediately right after. You're going to want to go outside and get some fresh air. And with Final Fantasy, I don't know how many hours you took on it, but let's say, for example...
It was great. It was like such a great experience to play through the first Final Fantasy. And I mean, it's even a game that I want to go back to and replay someday. That's how much I enjoyed it, oddly enough. It's just, I literally have no interest in really playing anything right now. And yeah, it sort of sucks.
Well, let me say this regarding RPGs. I'm going through Xenoblade Chronicles X, right? I've been playing it since mid-December, and I'm still like 35 hours into it. I have to take long extended breaks from it. Even though I love the game, it's just like I don't want to lose the rest of my life to this game. And I'm afraid that's what will happen, and I'll just totally lose my passion for gaming in the process. Now, I'm also in a gaming slump, but for a completely different reason. I'm just too freaking busy. I have so much stuff to do every day that if I get a couple minutes of Pokemon Picross in on a regular basis, I'm lucky. So, and plus I've been playing through the Rock Band games, and those are lengthy games that can't really be beat. So that's sort of my gaming slump right now, is I spend most of my spare time playing Rock Band, and they can't really be beat. So,
yeah. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about those 52 games that you're trying to play for this year?
Well, I'm worried now because we're only 40 minutes into the show. We're gonna run out of whatever. It's gonna be
we're
short.
fine.
Somehow it's gonna be a short show. Probably not.
It won't be.
I do want to complain about Rock Band 4, and this is the game that I was going to add to the broken/incomplete games of 2015, of holiday 2015, and that is because as a game, obviously it's Rock Band, right? So the mechanics are fantastic, and you have your guitar, you got your drums, you got your microphone, whatever. You're singing, you're playing drums, you're having fun with your friends. It's great, and as a rhythm game, it's really, really well done, and it's fun to play. But here's the problem with any rhythm game. I would argue the most important thing, apart from mechanics, would be the songs that you're playing. Rock Band 4 has quite a distinct advantage over the previous games in the series in that it has a just absolute cavalcade of DLC that you can buy and add songs to your game, and basically you have access to most of the songs in the past Rock Band games, and you can play those, and it's fine and it's fun. But the core set of songs in Rock Band 4, which is if you're starting out fresh or you don't have any DLC, the core songs in that game are absolute garbage. We did my friend and I, we've played almost every song in the game now, and we did a comparison, or not a comparison, but a ratio of good songs to bad songs, or rather songs that we like to play versus songs that we don't like to play, or songs that we just outright hate.
Was
and
it over
like
10?
It was like 1-to-1, the good songs to bad songs. It was unbelievable. Like no rhythm game should have 30 good songs and 30 bad songs. That's crazy.
Oh.
So basically, we don't want to play half the game. And that's just completely unacceptable. Rock Band 2 was probably like 3-to-1 good songs and bad songs, which is really good. There's 80 songs in that game. We probably don't want to play 15 to 20 of them ever.
You know, it's interesting with the rhythm games like Guitar Hero and whatnot. Like I think the first 2 Guitar Heroes were great games, just absolutely great. And that was largely because they picked songs that were fun to play.
And songs that were good, too.
And then after that, like, when it was a huge thing, they were like, oh, well, we're going to start bringing all the songs that people want to play. And the funny thing is people don't really know what they want. Because when you start giving them the songs that they want to play, those songs are just generally very, very repetitive, and simple.
Or like Wankfest guitar solos, like the idea of playing Jimi Hendrix in Rock Band, it sounds awesome, right? Because Jimi Hendrix is awesome, but I don't want to play those guitar solos because they're not fun. It's just like, oh, I'm just going all over the place. There's no rhythm to it. I'd say I'm showing off, but I'm not exactly playing well. So it's like, it's just not fun, you know.
Yeah.
Give me a song with some soul, with some I don't know. I'm a big music nerd, so I really do know a lot of the songs that Rock Band has available as DLC. There's a lot of good DLC, but unfortunately Rock Band 4 is loaded with weird indie rock bands and just bands I've never heard of. And like there's a song by Judas Priest, but it's horrible. And it's just like they had so many options here, but they just blew it.
Such a shame.
Yeah. So, and another thing about Rock Band 4, while I'm on the topic, is the career mode, which was supposed to be like a defining, like, great new experience. When you go on tour, you create your band, and the idea was that you'd vote on set lists as a band, and you would like make decisions together, like whether to go on a tour bus, whether to take a tour bus, or like whether to hire like a marketing agent. But the consequences of these things that you choose to do are like so irrelevant. It's basically just like, oh, you get more money if you do this, or you get new costumes if you do this. And it's like, that's pretty much the only 2 choices you'll get the whole game. Basically, do you want more money and fans, or do you want more costumes? And it's like, well, why would I want costumes? I don't give a crap about that. I want more money, then I can buy my own costumes and other stuff too. So there's just the rewards.
So you're saying that the reward system is not very...
It's
rewarding.
irrelevant, because the reason you make decisions is to get rewards, but why would you go the less reward route? There's just no point. So it's frustrating that that's supposed to be the new defining way to play Rock Band Tour, is by making decisions that don't matter in the end. So, I mean, granted, it's Rock Band, right? So no one really cares about the tour. It's all about having fun with your friends. But when you don't have friends like me, that's pretty much what you're forced to do. So Rock Band 4, I decidedly give a 3 out of 5. That is a low 3. I would not recommend this game. Stick with Rock Band 3. Rock Band 3 is a really, really good experience. Rock Band 4's on-disc set of songs is not good. It's really disappointing. There are some really nice tunes in there, but they're overshadowed by the bad ones big time, because there are some really, really bad ones. Songs that I listen to and I'm like, why would they even put this in a rhythm game? Like, I don't even want to hear this, let alone play it. So, anyway. That's it for that.
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5, not good.
But you wouldn't recommend it.
I would not recommend it. Well, I wouldn't recommend most 3 out of 5s. I wouldn't give it a 2 because, again, mechanically the game is still excellent. And there is the benefit of being able to move your old DLC into the game and just play that, which is basically what I do. So,
oh. Not bad, then. Well, if you're a returning customer, I guess.
Yep, basically. If you are a lifelong Rock Band fan, this is a game you should probably own. But you can stick with Rock Band 3 if you really don't feel like you need to buy all the new instruments and crap.
Well, speaking of rhythm games, you know how I played Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy?
And you talked about it for like 15 minutes on the show.
I know, you hated it. And
unforgettable.
You hated that. I hated the game. It was just not good.
Right.
Well, I got around to playing its sequel, and I've just been working through it over the past month here and there.
I would also like to point out before you go any further, this is week 8 of our 52 games in 52 weeks. You've already beaten 9 games this year, and you haven't played anything in like a month. So you're still ahead. I'm now behind.
Yeah, but I still want to finish the whole Final Fantasy series.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess playing the second game, Theater Rhythm, Final Fantasy Curtain Call, it was sort of my way of saying like, well, this is a part of the Final Fantasy series, sort of, I guess. But oh my gosh, talk about a game that just is leaps and bounds better than its predecessor. It is it is a really really enjoyable game to play. Um, it's probably one of the best rhythm games that I have ever played, especially for like a mobile game where you're just sort of tapping the screen. They added, I mean, first game had like 70 songs, but really only like 40 of them were playable. Sequel has a good 200 plus songs to play through. Like you're talking 10 plus for every Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
The reward system is infinitely better. Like with the previous game, you rarely would unlock new characters.
In this game, you unlock like a new character every time you play a song, right?
In this one, it's not quite that much. But like it has a quest. It has quests that you can actually do, and as you do these quests, when you finish a quest, you'll collect a bunch of rewards for it. And in order to unlock new characters, you have to collect a certain amount of shards, and there's different color shards that unlock different characters. So yeah, you finish a quest line, and a quest line is just like several random songs to play on various difficulties. Each quest line has sort of like a level indicator. It might be like a level 1 or it might be a level 99 quest, and 1 obviously being really really easy, 99 being pretty much as hard as it gets. And so after you beat the quest, you'll get these shards, and when you collect like anywhere from 4 to 8 shards of the same color, you unlock a new character, and you can generally pick what character that unlocks. Usually a certain color has like 4 or 5 different characters to choose from. So it gives like, you get to choose who you want to unlock first, so you can sort of pick the characters from the series that you like the most. Leveling up characters in the first game took forever. Not the case with this one. It is a lot quicker to level up characters, especially if you play songs well. You don't have to play through songs on easy mode before you unlock their harder counterparts in this game. And additionally, there is a third difficulty level. So there's a basic score, which is really, really easy. There's the expert score, which is more moderate, and I mean, I find that plenty challenging. And then there's ultimate score for the songs, and the ultimate scores are generally crazy, crazy hard in order to complete. So yeah, there's that. There's items to collect and use that like will help you level up quicker or help you get rare items more easily. There are items that sort of help you skip through an entire quest line so you can get the final rewards from the quest quicker. And I don't know, it's really addicting to level up characters and then sort of customize your battle group so like they're stronger or they can complete certain songs easier. And I found myself, I think I've probably put like a good 30 hours into the game.
Wow.
And I beat it, and I'm willing to play more. And the crazy thing about it is in those like 30 hours, I would say the most I've played a song is like, I might have played some songs 5 times, tops. Because there's such a great variety in the songs that you can play.
When I see games like that do all that extra, like, oh, we have a lot of content, it always makes me wonder, like, why more games, especially rhythm games, yeah, and especially rhythm games that aren't like licensed tracks, that are just songs from games or whatever. I always wonder, how come you guys didn't go for more stuff? More stuff is always good in a rhythm game.
Oh yeah.
No one's ever going to complain, oh, this game had too many songs. No one will ever complain that a rhythm game has too many songs. It's absurd.
The crazy thing is the previous theater rhythm game
Didn't have any, right? That was your complaint.
It had so few songs that, like, I mean, I only played it maybe 12 to 15 hours, and I was just so sick of those songs that when I get those songs in Curtain Call, I'm like, no, not this song. But then everything else is just like, all right, this song, I'll play this song, no problem.
That's pretty funny.
So, yeah, it's a great game. It has a lot of content. You really feel like you're making progress with the way the leveling system works. You can sort of find ways to level up your characters quicker, unlock new characters quicker. Yeah, pretty much better in every way, and a ton of fun, and yeah, goes from easy to challenging. I really could not suggest it more. It's weird because I gave the last one a 2 out of 5, and I'm going to give Curtain Call a 5 out of 5.
Wow.
Because even if you're not a huge Final Fantasy fan, which I'm really not yet. I've only beaten Final Fantasy 1 and Final Fantasy 7 now. And I love this game. It has a lot of great music, and there's a lot to do. There's a lot to unlock. There's, immediate reward gratification and, like, delayed gratification. So, yeah.
All right. So next time we do a show, which hopefully won't be next month, hopefully it'll be next week. When we do a show, will you have beaten something else for me, please, so that we can, like, have more to talk about? We actually have something to talk about. You beat one game in a month.
Man, I told you, I'm in
a
slump.
We're gonna break out of this game slump together. We're gonna do it together, just like the effortless ways of old.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So I got one more game, and I'm only counting that I've beat it, right? Like, I've gotten to the end of it. I'm going back and finishing it, like by getting all the missions and stuff. I beat Pokemon Picross yesterday, which is a game that came out in early December, I think, for 3DS. It was a free-to-play game that requires microtransactions to really do anything at all. And I finally
I remember you not being too thrilled with the game at first.
And I finally just said, screw it. I'd be willing to, because the content of the game was good enough to just pay for it. So I'm like, screw it. I paid $30. I unlocked everything. And then I just played the game like it was a normal game, and I had a blast with it. So basically, here's how I look at Pokemon Picross. It's Picross, which if you don't know what Picross is, it's better you just look it up because I can't explain it. With Pokemon, which makes it fun. And then if you don't like puzzles like the Pokemon, make it more fun. And then, it's just a puzzle game, and it's fun, and it's a really good handheld game to play like 5-10 minutes at a time while you're at work and you don't feel like working or whatever. Hopefully my boss isn't listening. So yeah, Pokemon Picross. It's a 4 out of 5. I don't really have anything to say about it. It's just don't play it if it's like as a free to play game. You'll just waste so much time. And probably money, too. If you just go like, oh, I'm just going to buy a little here and there, you'll waste way more money than just dropping $30 and just buying everything at once. So if you want to play it, I recommend just getting out of the way. Just spend $30, get everything, and you'll be fine the rest of the way.
Just real quick, for anybody who doesn't know what Picross is, can you describe it?
No, I just said I can't really describe it because it would be a disaster. But I'll you know what? I'll try anyway. I will persevere through this. Picross is basically, you have this grid. And you have to fill in specific spaces on this grid, and you do that by looking at the numbers that are placed above and beside the grid. And it's
it's sort of like a logic puzzle.
It's a logic puzzle. Everything can be completed with this pure logic. You don't need to guess anything, which is the amazing thing about Picross. I don't even know how they made it possible, but it's possible. So, I don't know.
That's it?
Yeah, Picross is a really fun puzzle, but it's just a puzzle. So if you're not into puzzles, you won't like Picross. If you like puzzles, you'll like Picross. There's other Picross games you can check out. Mario's Picross, Picross 3D, Picross DS. Picross 3D 2 is supposed to be coming out in North America soon. So if you're really into these puzzles like I am, I can't wait for that one. But I do love Picross, and Pokemon Picross was a good experience once I started paying for it. If you're doing it free, you're not doing it right. It's going to take you weeks to do anything at all.
All right. Well then.
Yeah, that's it. That's the show, right?
Oh my goodness, we're done like within an hour.
We really nailed it today, I think. I think the month off really did us some good. I hope you guys liked the show as much as I did, because I thought it was great.
Yeah, quick, succinct, but plenty of content that we talked about. Any games that you're looking forward to playing?
I will say this. Next week, I hope to have finished Mario and Luigi Dream Team, which I'm playing on 3DS. And a little spoiler, I don't really care for it. But hopefully we can talk about it. Games I'm looking forward to. NX, when that gets announced. That's really all I'm looking. No, seriously.
That's not a game.
That's
an announcement.
But I was looking forward to Uncharted 4, and I'm looking forward to Zelda U. But then I was looking at the rest of 2016, and I'm like, what's coming out this year that I want?
What about Twilight Princess HD?
I mean, I'm going to buy it. Am I looking forward to it? I don't know. Maybe. It's like a 50-hour game, so I'm not looking forward to that.
I was a little disappointed by the graphical upgrades to it.
Oh, you mean upgrades in like quotes, right? Like it's like quote unquote upgrades.
I mean they're redoing some textures and making them a little bit higher resolution, and
unfortunately a crappy game, a game that looked crappy in 2006 still looks pretty crappy today.
Yeah, it really didn't need new textures. It really needed an overhaul for me to the lighting system, because I mean that's what the Wind Waker did, and yeah, the Wind Waker had some lighting quirks where like things would start to look a little bit plasticky sometimes, but for the most part, it added so much more to the game and just made it absolutely gorgeous, right?
For what it's worth, the game does look better now than it did like probably 4 months ago when they first showed it off, because they were probably polishing up the lighting system in that time period. And there is also the benefit that we'll actually be playing the game on our own HD TVs instead of watching it filtered through our computers. So I mean, there's that. It might look better on screen. In fact, I'm positive it will look better on screen. But right now, I can't really get excited about something that is going to look better than what I'm seeing right now.
I think the only thing that, for me, it really offers is it offers an opportunity to play through Twilight Princess without Waggle.
I can't wait for that.
Let's be very clear. The Wii version of Twilight Princess sucks. And in widescreen, and yeah, I mean, that's about it. Widescreen, HD, no Waggle.
GameCube
sounds
controls.
Pretty good to me. Yeah.
There is a Waggle mode option, right? Like you can use the Wii remote, right? That's a thing.
I hope not. Is there?
Well, no. What do you mean you hope not? You hope there's less options? No,
no.
I think,
why would you want that as an option?
Just in case you want it. I don't know. Just as a thought. Like maybe you only had the GameCube version. Maybe you want to try the Wii version. Which
the most ridiculous thing about Twilight Princess on the Wii was the fairy that was always on the screen.
That was ridiculous.
It was like completely unnecessary. I'm like,
it was completely out of place.
What can I do with it?
It didn't make any sense. It's like there's no fairies in this game. Why is there a fairy on the screen?
And there was no use for the fairy ever.
Yeah.
Through the entire game, there was no use for the fairy. Well, I don't know. I really don't know how much I'm looking forward to the new HD release, because the beginning of that game is just so bad. The pacing is pretty atrocious.
You are remembering it through a lens of, wow, I hated this so much, and you've let that build and build over time. It's not as bad as everyone says it is. It's slow.
I've tried to replay it so many times. I get 5 hours in, and I'm like, I can't do this. Like, this beginning it just goes nowhere. It doesn't open up for a really long time.
I don't know. I kind of liked the quaint feel of it. Maybe it's just me. I mean,
they did remove some of. I think they removed some of the Tears of Light or whatever that you can.
Yeah,
collect.
They did actually. That part sucked. That part of the game sucked.
That's a plus. Yeah. Hopefully they increased the text speed and.
Yes, always increase the text speed.
Removed some of the mandatory tutorials that were just a little unnecessary and took a little bit too long. Hopefully.
So
I don't know. We'll see.
Real quick, let's appeal to the fans real quick. What are you most excited for this year? Like, what game are you excited for? And don't say Far Cry Primal, and don't say Watch Dogs 2. And also, what games are you playing right now for your 52 games in 52 weeks? We know you're doing it because we see you doing it.
Yeah.
We watch you while you sleep.
You do, not me.
Yeah, I do. Yes.
I have better things to do, like play Peggle Blast. Ugh.
So we hope you enjoyed this week's show. We hope you enjoyed this week's thumbnail. Anything else?
This week's thumbnail.
Yeah. Well,
I
enjoyed it.
It's what gets clicks, right?
Yeah. Well, the McPick 2 episode got more views than like any show we've done since like episode 4 or something. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't even know why.
Effortless.
Effort pick.
Episode. All right. So I think we're about done. Nothing else to say. Share with us, comment, like, subscribe, share. I don't know.
You don't even need to subscribe. We're the only people who make videos on this channel anymore. So.
Actually, we pretty much are.
Actually, there are other shows. QJ and Dan are doing Across the Pond again, I think, this week, so that should be fun. I liked their first show. It was a good little debut. Go check that out.
Yeah, check it out. Tell Omni to come back or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And we'll wrap it up right there.
Omni, come back.
Next week, maybe there will be another show. Hopefully, maybe. Or in 2 weeks at the very least.
Just bother me on Twitter at Spigel if you want there to be another show. And then, it might happen. I'm on Twitter a lot now. I will say this. I've been very active. And it's kind of fun, actually, to get real-time feedback from stuff on Twitter. Okay, we need to stop the show. At Spigel, follow me.
So, for Spigel, I'm Piddle. This is Effortless.
Goodbye.